G'day beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be going over a solo build that is very good. Keep in mind, not very well optimized at the moment. It takes a lot to get them optimized and I don't have all the time in the world. Also there is a couple of other people that have probably already put these builds out. I know of Marco Style having this build out as well. So we're going to go over the build and then I'm going to show you a couple of things that might be fun to do once some of this stuff gets nerfed, because it's definitely getting nerfed. So the build revolves around being able to heal quite a lot while doing quite a lot of damage. So the main things as far as the weapon goes is strained. 10% crit hit damage is gained for every 5% of your armor that is depleted. That is important. I don't actually have it on an SMG. So I only have it on my assault rifle, but that is my main gun anyway. The SMG is just something that I enjoy using. The only other things that are important are Berserk on your chest piece, which is 10% weapon damage for every 10% of max armor depleted. So that's 100% weapon damage, 200% crit damage if you get all your armor depleted. The main part of the build though is Patience. After being in cover for 3 seconds, armor repairs by 5% every 1 second. And Clutch is pretty important. Crit hits restore 15% health and repair 2% armor. But killing a target, Safeguard. Killing a target grants 150% bonus to repairing and healing effects for 20 seconds. So while you're in cover and you're getting kills, you are increasing everything by 150%. So your crit hits are restoring 37.5% health and 5% armor. While you're in cover, you're repairing 12.5% armor every second. And where is the last one? Yeah, that's it. So lots of healing coming in. So as your armor is going down, you are healing it up passively by being in cover with Safeguard. You are also healing it up by getting crit hits. And you are making that even stronger by getting kills with proccing Safeguard. But the whole time that this is happening, Strained and Berserk, so the crit damage and the weapon damage talents are also giving you more damage. So the lower your armor gets, the more damage you do, the more chance you have of killing that enemy and keeping Safeguard procced so that you can then heal back up again. So it's just a bit of an ebb and flow of lot of damage, lot of healing, lot of damage, lot of healing as it goes back and forth. So as far as the build goes, the only things you need to keep in mind is that Strained, you need 5 or less into the firearm stat. And one thing that I have noticed is, so keep in mind that is for your attributes. So each one of these attributes counts towards that cap. Also, so see we're at 5 right now. When it comes to putting mods on, don't assume that these mods here that have 3 of the damage stats on them is going to take us to 8, because it's actually only going to take us to 6. Because each of those mods, whether it has 3 damage stats or 2 damage stats, will always take you up 1. So it just means that, say if you're at 4, you can put a mod on that has multiple damage stats. You just can't put 2 of them on, because that will take you up too far. So see, they're all still taking us up to 6. They're not taking us up to 7 or 8. So keep that in mind. The other thing that I've been messing about with, and the thing that I started with first, was actually a different build, but let's just go and have a look at the stats first before we do that. So your gear talents, Safeguard, 100% important, one of the most important ones. Berserk, 10% weapon damage for every 10% of max armor. For this particular build, important. Clutch is very important, and Patience, alright? So then you want to kind of get as much critical hit chance as you can on the build. Damage to elites is on there, because this is what I'm using to run tier 4 control points, so lots of elites, a lot of elites, and you need as much damage to elites as you possibly can. Mine's actually a little bit low. Strained on your weapons. The other things that you can go for as well, as far as weapons go, is I've been also using... Where is she? I use snipers quite a bit, but I've also been using preservation. Killing an enemy repairs 5% armor over 3 seconds. Remember, that's going to... Safeguard's going to take that to 12.5%. And then it's even more if it's a headshot. And there was... also this as well. Reformation kind of sounds good. Headshot kills increase skill, repair, and healing by 25%. But it's much harder to get it into this build because you need 4 or less damage stats. But also it's not as beneficial. If you were going to use preservation, you would be getting the 150% bonus to this. So that would be 12.5% of your armor healed, added on top of all your other healing. Whereas this, in getting a kill, increasing your healing by an extra 25%, all that's really doing is increasing the heal from patients by 25%, which is not very much at all. That's 1.25% on that, and you're increasing these by stuff all as well, like 0.5% of your armor for crit hits. It's really not worth it. So even though it does kind of sound like it might be beneficial, it's really not, because it's additive. It's adding on top of the heals that you have, whereas this is where is she gone? Whereas this is a whole nother 12.5% of healing that you're getting. So I put that on if I need a little bit of distance between me and them. I'm also running the Grenadier kit, which is giving me some other stats as well. So just quickly again, Safeguard, Berserk, Clutch, and Patience. And then for your weapons, Strained, and potentially what we just went over there. And I'll show you the pistol and what I've been going for other things. So I'm pretty low on crit chance for my assault rifle. I need to farm up some more mods and stuff, see if I can up that a bit more. But we're at 48.5% crit chance, which is not bad. Low crit damage as well. Like I said, it's not optimized. We've got near max crit chance on the SMG. We've got things like all weapon damage, assault rifle damage. The LMG and SMG damage are coming from the Grenadier skill tree. But if we actually just look at the pieces themselves, so you may be able to switch this up and do it a whole different way. But I would recommend at least going for 1 Gila Guard, so that you get the 5% total armor. You also get a couple of the tanky stats on them. And this one here is definitely something that you could exchange for something else, because the hazard protection is not really that important. It's just the only thing that I had the crit chance attribute and the crit chance talent on. Obviously this could be different as well. If you weren't going to run an assault rifle, if you were just running SMGs, you could run that differently as well. I do have the 2-piece just so I can get a little bit more protection from the elites. This one here is not necessarily the best it could be with Murakami Industries, because the 8% health is great, I suppose, but there's probably something else you could go for. If you were going to use rifles, you can go for try to get a rifle damage mixed in there, or try to get the damage to elites on the Badger Tough brand set, and just sort of switch it about. Like, you don't have to have each of these in, you don't have to have the Fenris chest piece. You don't have to have the Richter and Kaiser holster. You don't have to have the Providence backpack. Just make sure that you've got the talents, and just it's going to take a little bit of working out to get to the right spot. And you see, I've used all my titanium, and I've farmed up another 120 cents, so it's quite expensive. I could go and try to mess with the build right now and do something better, but I'm not going to, because it's so expensive. But like I said, this is probably going to get nerfed at some point. Berserk and Strained are probably going to get nerfed. So another thing that I was messing with was using Blacksmith. Killing an enemy with your sidearm repairs 25% of your armor. So that's just a flat 25% armor that you can get every 10 seconds. And then with your pistol, you can actually use Finisher. Swapping from this weapon within 3 seconds of killing an enemy grants 30% crit hit chance. So you can heal 25% of your armor by finishing someone off with the pistol, quickly switch back to your other weapons, and then you have a bonus 30% crit chance. So then you only actually have to build 30% crit chance onto your actual build. So if we look at these stats again, the 48% crit chance and the 58% crit chance, I could put that into something different. You know what I mean? It's obviously it's going to be probably still going to be pretty high on the SMG, but as far as the assault rifle goes, I could drop a little bit of that because we are using where is it? We are getting crit chance off of our small laser pointer, so I could easily change that to a little bit more stability, reload speed, anything that I wanted, a little bit more crit damage, which would be nice. So that's something I'm going to be messing with. Trying to get a build for that ready to go for when what I assume is going to be a nerf to Strained and to Berserk. But that's the build. If you have any questions about it, drop them in the comment section down below and I'll try to help you as quickly as easily as I can. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful in some way, shape or form. Just try to keep in mind those really important talents that we went over, and just try to make sure that you're certain about the pieces that you have on before you go recalibrating anything, because it is quite costly. If you have a little look to re-roll something, it's for a weapon, that's going to be 5,000 credits, 62 polymer, and 37 electronics. That was for the backpack. For the weapon, it's going to cost you 36 steel, 24 titanium, and nearly 4,000 credits. So it's very expensive. It's using up those blue materials. So keep that in mind. Make sure you're certain of what you want to do. I know it can be a bit of a headache moving stuff around, checking everything out. But just do the best you can to make sure that you're certain before you start re-rolling. Because we're only in World Tier 4. We're going to go to World Tier 5 soon. You don't want to be wasting everything just so that you can do a good bit of farming now. On this build. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this video helped. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.